Our district adopted the 6+1 trait writing framework as a way to learn and use a common language to refer to the characteristics of writing and to create a common vision of what good writing looks like. I had the sense that my students didn't have a firm understanding of this framework. Therefore, we began this unit by doing an activity or two about each trait with the objective to build some background knowledge and to begin to get creative juices working for a final project. To assess if these activities were successful, I had the students create an analogy poster to present in small groups. I was thrilled with the results. The next step was to assign groups of 2 to 3 students to become experts about a specific trait and in return teach this to the rest of the class. Since technology is a motivator, the students were required to use and incorporate a variety of Web 2.0 tools. Their first project was to learn about podcasting. Then they created a script based on the information that they felt was important about their specific trait. They recorded this script using Audacity, saved it as an MP3 file, then uploaded it to podbean.com. Later they created a link to this site and embedded a player on their wiki page. Their next task was to create a wiki page with all the requirements. They learned how to add titles, change fonts and colors, add images, and the importance of citing where they received the image, create links to other web pages, wiki pages, and documents, and the process of embedding files. Once again, we reviewed and practiced using 6+1 trait rubrics as a class. Then I Gmailed some writing samples to each group. They were required to open the attachment, read and assess the writing, and back up the grade with 2 reasons why. The teams then saved this document and linked to it on their wiki page. The final requirement of the wiki was to create a visual representation of the trait. To gather ideas, we watched several sample YouTube videos throughout this unit. For this requirement, some teams chose to use the flip cams to create a video. Then they used Windows Movie Maker to create, edit, and share their video. Other teams chose to use extranormal.com, which is a program where students pick a couple of characters and type the script. It is then turned into a movie that is easily embedded on a wiki page. This unit covered several Montana content standards. Standard 1 and 5 from the Communication Arts Standards were addressed. Standards 1, 2, and 3 from the Montana Technology Standards were covered, as well as Standards 1 and 3 from the Information Literacy Library Media Standards. Everyone experienced challenges that eventually produced successes. When we would run into roadblocks, it was neat to see how the groups would collaborate about potential fixes. More heads working on a solution definitely leads to a greater success rate. The advice I would give for this unit is make sure that some of the Web 2.0 tools were already introduced. My students had some experience already with working with wikis and extra normal. Earlier in the year, we developed a Gmail account for each computer so that groups could simultaneously be editing pages without erasing other groups' material. Also, the use of the assessment checklists, rubrics, and direction sheets were a huge help, especially when I was busy working with one group. Other groups could attempt a troubleshoot on their own. Also, at the beginning of each class, we would review the tasks that needed to be accomplished and reiterate the fact that if a group gets stuck, not just to sit there, but start on a different task. My hope was that by the end of this unit, my students would be able to understand the role and importance of 6+1 traits of writing, be able to identify the use of each trait in published works, and become familiar with the following computer applications: wikis, podcasts, and video production. The results were beyond my expectations.